So this is a topic I haven't gotten the gall to talk about in a while. Jack 4. It's a very interesting subject to talk about because not a lot of people, at least now, it's like people forgot what Jack was because it's been that long. Like the last actual Jack game that we got was back in 2004. It's more than 10 years, man. More than 10 years. So it's been a while, but I think now is the time to finally talk about it because of reasons that I'm gonna say, obviously. Wouldn't make a video without, actual grounds, right? So the thing about Naughty Dog and Jack 4 that people don't seem to be understanding is that a lot of people think that they're abandoning Jack 4 and they're just never going to do it. When I saw the not the leaks, but back in 2006 when they initially tried to do it and it didn't end up working out. They canned it, did Uncharted. Uncharted did well for them. And then in 2012 they did it again. They tried to do Jack 4 again for a second time. This is their second time trying to do Jack 4. And instead, they did Last of Us. And Last of Us, made money. And obviously they were going to pursue Last of Us. Don't let me talk about Last of Us 2 yet. But both times, they have tried to do Jack 4. And for now, they're saying that they've put it on the back burner, but they never said it wasn't off the table. They didn't completely omit it, being like, no, we're never going to touch this again. Which is very funny because a lot of people, Naughty Dog, they think that Naughty Dog just doesn't care about Jack. That they're just never going to make Jack. But I believe now, of all times, it's perfect. So, here's my spiel. You guys are going to love this. So, Last of Us 2 is a game that might be Naughty Dog's first official flop of the year. Just of their entire, I would say, couple years of making good shit. Last of Us 2 might be their first flop. The reason why is because of shit that I'm not going to talk about, but that right there, that flop is going to open Naughty Dog's eyes so fucking hard that they're going to be like, holy shit, we should listen to the fans, right? Because back in Jack 4, when they were doing Jack 4, they said they didn't want to do the Jack 4 because of the story. They didn't want to make a story that fans would hate. And now, you see in Last of Us 2, they're doing a story that fans are probably going to fucking hate. So, in that circumstance, you have two options. You do Jack 4, or you do a completely new IP and risk losing more money, because they're already losing money because of this whole spiel that I'm not going to get into about Last of Us 2. But it's such a perfect opportunity for them to just be like, oh my god, Jack 4. So, yes, they are working on a new IP that they haven't said the name of. Usually the way they do it is they have a big team working on a project like Last of Us 2, and then they have a small team working on not Jack 4, but, we never know. But let's say it is Jack 4. They would be working on pre-developed shit for Jack 4. So, it's not out of grounds to believe that, especially since they've been trying to bring it back up for years. So this might be their third try. And you know what they say. Third time is the charm. So, here's a question. What are they going to do? Are they going to rush it? Because crunch culture is Naughty Dog's middle fucking name. Now, here's the thing. I don't know if you guys remember this, but Jack 2 and Jak 3 had a 1 year gap. If you notice, Jak 3 is basically Jak 2, but like a DLC. Like a DLC story, like better weapons, better everything. But it used a lot of the same assets. So they used to rush a lot harder than they did before. But I'm not trying to justify the rushing either. Like the whole crunch shit. So I think that Last of Us 2 flop is going to open their eyes to actually take time to work on something without filling like 15,000 quotas at once. Like, do the game when it's ready. Like that type of shit. So, in my opinion, what they could do with the Jak 4 story is bring back Gall and Maya. Now, the reason I say this is because, yes, they could have it be Jak going back to Haven City, fighting all the metalheads, and then, or like going back in time, building Haven City, fighting the metalheads, becoming Mara, but I feel like that's way too predictable. But at the same time, we also have Gall and Maya that we don't know if they're dead or alive. In Jak 1, when we beat them, they went into the catacombs. Like, they fell in the catacombs of, like, Dark Eco, and we don't know what happens to them. Samus says they probably died. Not saying they died. Oh, maybe they died. Maybe they died. Because we've seen in the fucking first game that Dark Eco has very fucking strange properties. We don't know the extent of Dark Eco. No one does. Not even the Dark Eco sage himself. Or maybe he would find a way to calcify that Dark Eco and preserve their body for years. And then when the catacombs opened in Jak 3, I think that would be his time to just kind of open up and be like, okay, what was going on? What do I do here? Because it wouldn't be out of left field for that to happen in their given world, right? Like, it's such a perfect setup. And then, since Gall is a Dark Eco Sage, could work with the Dark Makers, and then you could still do the time shit where it's gonna be a battle through time, and he's working to find some shit that'll like rewrite history, and Jak has to stop him because, you know, rewriting history is bad. Like some shit that makes sense. You know, like they could really do that, or they could just pull Last of Us 2 and subvert our expectations. Just Ryan Johnson it, man. You could do that too, but I don't think they are after a flop like this, which I honestly believe it is gonna flop. If it doesn't flop, I'll be very surprised. But when it does, if it does, it will change a lot of things in Naughty Dog. So they'll start to take their stories a lot more serious than they did before. And what better story to go back to than the Jak and Daxter series that they've been trying to revive. Neil Druckmann, which, say what you want about him now. Say what you want about him now, and you'd be right. But he's been trying to revive that shit for a while. So if anyone is going to bring that shit up from the dead and hold it and be like, you're coming, you're gonna be reborn, it's gonna be this guy, because he really cares about Jak and Daxter, at least from what we know. So Jak 4 is going to happen. It is going to happen. There's no at this point. Like, it will. Unless like Naughty Dog goes bankrupt and they just close their doors. That would be the only way that I would say, you know what, Jak 4 is not going to get made. But I believe that they will be smart and they'll make the right decision. Because at this point, they make a new IP right after Last of Us 2. After the trust that they just destroyed with their audience, I think they're going to lose money too. They're going to lose money on that game as well. So, same. Like, it's almost a perfect proposition for Jak 4 to come out of. You know, when Naughty Dog is in its lowest point, I mean, I guess the only other thing they could do is like Crash, but I don't even think they have the rights for Crash anymore. They still have the rights to Jack, which is why they've been trying to revive that shit, right? Otherwise, they wouldn't do anything. So I see trends, and when I see trends, I start thinking, and I start saying, okay, what if this happened? And if it happened, I think a lot of people would be very happy, and I think it would be a game that will be worth our time, hopefully. It kind of makes me scared thinking about it, but it's like, if any time they're going to make Jack 4, it'll probably be in a couple years from now. Like, if they're already making it now, especially with them opening a new studio, and we saw, like, Josh Keaton in a mocap suit, which we don't know what that was for. No one knows what that was for. Josh Keaton knows, but, you know, obviously he's not going to say shit. So, I don't know. He was the voice for Jack in The Lost Frontier. So, you know, anything can happen is what I'm trying to say. But, yeah. So I'm going to end this video. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video.